Good evening. Welcome to the Mass Traffic Commission meeting today, Wednesday, February 17th. We can go around and everybody can introduce themselves. Our right side with that.
Chad, the one like the 311 we were talking about. David Pisano, J. Martin, Planning Department as well. Scott Downford, Deputy Chief of the Fire. Rio Vecchio, Dr. Fossil. What's the name of?
So we just missed two, so we've got for Alfred Latanzi will be out for a couple. He'll probably miss this meeting, and he should be back. He's still quarantined, so he called me. So well, good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming. If we can go back to old business, just to backtrack on a couple of things from last meeting. Jay, we talked about those standing lines at the crosswalks where the school zones is. Did you have a chance to look at anything of that? I didn't find much out there either, so I'll talk to you a little bit more and send something to the board about how we're going to do that. Maybe we can spend we probably really can't put anything down right now the way the ground is and with the snow.
We have plenty of time to
figure
something out.
Yeah. So maybe we can even if the school out this week and school's now, we still have some time. Some kids going, but that's something when the schools get back full time. I think that's definitely a priority. We need to look at whether we put up some cable sticks or something like that. So we can take that for a little bit longer and keep looking. I didn't find anything really on. Nope. So we're going to go to B, but while we wait for that, all right, we can have a full discussion on that. That's the discussed and recommended revise a residential sticker ordinance. So we'll hold off with that for a minute if we can, and then we'll clean up the handicap spots from 66 Lexington Street and 74 Baldwin Ave. That was tabled. One was that they were going to try to Lexington Street, try to work it out with the landlord, but we heard back from them at all. And we heard back in from 74 Baldwin Ave that was going to go talk to the neighbors because it was across the street from the house. They'd have to take up a couple of neighbors' spots. We heard nothing back on that. All right, so we'll close those two out. So we'll go back to this item B, which is discuss or recommend advise residential sticker ordinance, and turn it over to Jay Watson on this. He did have we did discuss last time though, Jay, about getting planning board on and I understand that happened, so I'll let you take it over.
Just to clarify, so for example, there's 2 handicap spots that are being denied.
You'll be denied, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to hang up.
No, just remember, this is different than what we just voted on regarding the visitor placards. So this will be resident, and that visitor placard program that we passed is already started.
So just to talk about the need while we're doing this, this is sort of a second piece to the transportation zoning that planning board approved at their last meeting. And one of the things that it does, among others, is it takes the parking variance, but if you don't meet the required parking for new development.
So just say if you had a building of 6 and you needed 8 spots, this is going to replace it.
Well, so right now, if you have a building that requires 10 spaces, you want to do 8, you go to the zoning board of appeals, the ZBA says yea or nay. And for the last 2 years or so, they've also said, we're going to grant you this variance, but we're also not going to give you on-street stickers. So we don't want, school parking, and then just put that burden back on. What the ordinance does, it says, okay, we're going to continue down this road of allowing people to deviate from the required parking, but they're going to mitigate that. They're going to do things in addition to simply not having resident stickers. They're going to need to provide a shuttle service. They're going to need to provide a number of services, things that will enable folks who want to live with one less car to do so. But in doing so, we're taking the process of being too little or too many parking spaces, we're taking that out of the zoning board of appeals. So you won't have to go for that anymore. That takes away the tool where the ZBA says, we're not going to give you residence stickers. So to cover ourselves, to again protect the neighborhoods from folks, bringing extra cars and parking in neighborhoods, we want to revise the residence sticker ordinance. And in doing so, we're going to say that for any new project, 5 units or more, you'll be allocated a number of residence stickers that is proportional to the amount of street frontage that you have. So take, 600 Broadway, as an example. They're 80 units, right? In theory today, they have 80 residents, 80 units of go get residence stickers down at the parking office. Now they have the ZBA decision that says you're not going to get any. But under the new zoning, they're not going to the ZBA anymore. They can in theory go and get 80 or 100 stickers. So what this says is, if they have 100 feet of street frontage on the front of the building, they're only going to get 5 stickers. Doesn't matter if they have 80 units, 20 units, 10 units, you get 5 stickers. But that's the proportional number of stickers for the amount of street frontage that you have. That's what this change does.
Makes sense, but now who determines who gets them in the building?
So, where we have
I'm getting ahead of you.
and the reason we picked 5 units, right?
Yep.
Because you could argue that really everybody should be subject to that. But at 5 and above units, the assumption is that those buildings are managed. They're not, a landlord, most cases, right? So the building like that, 80 units, they're going to have, staff, they're going to have a management system. So in that case, the management will determine who, if anybody, gets the sticker. And management, in the text that's down here, owners or managers of large multifamily structures shall apply for the allowed number of residential parking stickers by providing a plan stamped by a registered engineer or surveyor demonstrating the amount of frontage on a public way that the subject property contains and calculating the number of resident parking stickers allowed for the large multifamily structure, as well as proof acceptable to the officer of the parking clerk with respect to the number of units in the structure. Owners or managers of large multi-tenant structures will be solely responsible for the internal distribution of resident parking stickers to building residents. Owners and managers may not charge a fee for resident parking stickers. Before distributing resident parking stickers, owners and managers must obtain proof of vehicle registration and payment of excise tax and a certification that the recipient has paid all parking tickets. So it's placing the burden fully on building management. And again, that's why we didn't say, 1 unit or 2 units, then we get into the issue of, you have a landlord, another, and it gets a little bit.
But they can't charge anybody extra,
They
they can't
cannot charge
charge any
anybody
extra
extra.
rent or anything like that for parking stickers.
What happens if it's 600, if they only get 5?
So,
And that whole building, they're supposed to have 160.
Yeah.
They're only going to get 5.
well, so as of right now, they get 0 because,
Yes, they get
right.
0, right.
Some folks have said, well, is that, could somebody challenge that legally? And nobody, there's other cities that have done this and nobody has successfully challenged it, but let's say they did. With this ordinance in place, that'll be sort of a backstop. So even if somebody challenged that and said, you can't do that, we would then be able to come back with us and say, well, okay, we're going 5.
So the way it was, like you just said, that the ZBA would say, through your lease, you're not going to get any.
Right.
In this case, they're only going to get 5.
Right.
And not necessarily go into the lease, but going to be a zoning ordinance.
Right.
If in fact, this, like that question was asked, who determines what? The planning board.
Mm-hmm.
And if the planning board determines that they're not sufficiently meeting the requirements that they set forward, you can actually turn down site plan review, or you just have to make them keep going back till they get it right.
Well, I think we would try to do the latter, right?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And I think hopefully when we start the presentation, we're trying to structure it in a way that is clear and fair to everybody, so we don't get in a situation where we're just going back and forth. But yeah, in theory, the planning board said,
The only thing I would like to see put in the agenda, we can, the board, so, just so I know we got new board members, so really quick, right? So, is three phases of building, right? So building, you go, they submit their plans to the drawing to the planning board, and also the zoning board to make sure that they don't have any variances or anything like that. All that passes, the planning board is the one that has the final say where the project goes through. Fire department has to say, they get a set of plans. Finally, for some reason, traffic always got a little piece, but it was always out an afterthought because of Solver and some other people. This board is now having a little bit more say on what's exits and entrances in the state. So that's how we're talking about the future building in the city, because we have 5 big projects coming up. So that's why this whole, I'm sorry to cut you off, I just want to make sure we got some new members, so let's see how, you know, so we got some big projects coming, and we need to make sure that we work with the planning, zoning. For a while, it was like 3 different, you know, works and plans rotating around and trying to communicate, but we're all pretty much in the same spot. You agree with that? You know, we're probably getting on the same spot with plans. That's how it's coming. Planning still will have far to say, but at least they're asking for us. The only thing I would like to see in the HA, if possible, that if this board or anybody finds out that they're charging for any type of parking for those stickers, that there be some type of penalty to that company. Because you know they're going to try to do that, right?
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
I get your sticker, it's going to cost you $300 extra. So if that board finds out that the company gets fined, I would like to see a fine system.
Well, you know, I can see it would happen is they would charge more for a unit. It's charging more for that unit. But maybe you get a parking sticker with that. You know, that's one possibility. And then they wouldn't be technically charging for sticker, but they'd be charging
For parking.
for
If they put that word in there at all, parking, that's a violation of this ordinance.
Right.
And I really want to be sure of that.
Okay, so who's charging, let's get back to the 600. Okay. Somebody rents the apartment for 600.
Yep.
They have a commercial vehicle. Okay, the commercial vehicle that they use for work. As I'm looking through these three ordinances here, the commercial vehicle they use for work, the vehicle is registered in say, they tell it for residence.
no more or less so than individual.
Okay, so am I to assume that the vehicles that have resident stickers now, are not registered in public, the commercial vehicles? Once we approve this, or we go through the motions with it, and we take this under our wing, starting next year, we're not gonna be able to get resident stickers.
We already have a program for commercial vehicles, right? Under the residential.
Yeah.
You're right.
There's some big guidelines, 20 feet away or stuff like that, if it's registered and everything. Well, the only reason
If
why.
the company makes you take it home.
Oh, and then, yes, the only reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of vehicles, like we have in New York, 25 feet in length. The new favorite vehicle now is the Sprinter, whether it's Mercedes, whether it's Ford. The vehicles are less than 20 feet, and the vehicles are less than 25 feet in length, but they still take up more than a regular car. So this is my.
But they'd still be entitled under their force. If the company allows them to take them home,
So it's they're paying
they're paying.
for parking.
But they're not going to get a residential sticker. They're not allowed.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Well, what I say is, it'll still fall under the number of stickers that are eligible for that building, right? So none of the rules change. If that's allowable today, as residential use, sticker, you know, 600 appears, which will give them a sticker, it could be one of the 5. But assume that.
They wouldn't be able to, they wouldn't be
So they get the plaque. They have to pay 500, 300.
Okay, because there are some vehicles that are not registered that have stickers. There are commercial vehicles that are not registered, they have it. That have not registered stickers. So whether or not it fell before this,
I don't think it affects it.
I don't think it affects it. They're getting 5 parking stickers.
no,
Residential.
I'm just talking citywide. I'm not talking just 600, I'm talking citywide.
So this only affects buildings that are going for an occupancy permit after the date of adoption. So if you're in a building, there's plenty of like 3 or 4 apartment buildings that don't have a parking, right?
Okay,
So it doesn't affect them. It only affects
Okay.
construction.
but can they contest that and say there are people that live in multi-family dwellings
No,
that bring home their commercial vehicles and they have a residence sticker?
no, this is different.
Yeah.
This, about half of the zone was passed.
Yeah, this really is, what this addresses is the eligibility. What makes you eligible for residence sticker? So, I don't think.
No, I just feel if you're gonna go for one, you should do it. You should keep it uniform.
But they're getting one of the stickers. You're saying if one of those stickers, he gives it to a guy that's a man?
No. I'm saying if it's a commercial vehicle and it's not registered to where he lives and he takes it home, is he eligible for a residence sticker?
No, not through that program.
Okay,
Read
for
through
that
this.
program. But my question is, if we're gonna do that, should we make it universal to the whole city?
So this was a discussion I already had. But the reason we're doing it to new projects is that we, in the citywide, we're taking away a lot of people, right? If there's an expectancy out there, if you want a car, you've got the sticker year after year after year. You're going to put that away tomorrow. I want problems. I'm not saying there is maybe not a way to get there over time,
Yeah, okay.
where like, let's say, you have a system in the future where the property gets sold and turns over, the new owner is now subject to this. You could do something like that. We're not opposed to that.
I'm just saying, obviously with new projects, more cars, and I'm discussing the chair. More cars, more projects. It becomes a staffing issue because do we have the staff power or the manpower to be able to enforce?
But that's why we're kind of keeping it scope of some of them to make it through the channel, make it powerful for everybody else.
So if you look under D, the front page, it explains, if under these, say we take 600, Broadway, they have no fit, they get 5 spots, right? They get 100 feet. That company cannot give it that residential sticker to a resident parking sticker, not be to a reserve spot. The following vehicles cannot get a residential sticker for that. So that was.
Yeah, it's the same thing like what we have.
Correct.
Before.
This is the same, this is the exact.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Same thing.
All we're doing is you just strike out text or take this about, this is the new blue stuff, or add stuff to it, but everything else is the same.
So that, the only thing I would like to see in there is a little check and balance regarding, we find out that they're charging people
Yep.
money,
Yep.
making money off our residential stickers.
Yep.
That they're fined somewhere between, I think we need to talk to legal on that.
Yep.
But it should be first time offense caught, it's $1,000 fine, second time is 5,000,
Yep.
third time is 10,000, and all stickers are gone.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I think we need to throw that in there, knowing some of these people.
Yep.
My community try to squeeze out, hey, yeah, you give me $200 a year.
Yeah.
It should be some type of lottery, whatever they want to do, a lottery way or whatever, are the first people to rent an apartment from them, a bonus, hey, you first one to get, but if we find out that if they're making money off our residential sticker program, I think they need to be hit hard and often.
And we'll have to look too, because we're not charged for a sticker, that hasn't changed, so we may have some clause, somewhere in the city charter that would allow.
Yeah.
We'll open that.
Yeah, so I think that will fall under us now. So so we're right here, so this is gonna fall under, we're getting away from ordinances, we're not doing ordinances anymore as a board. We are doing regulations.
Right, so to be clear, this is an ordinance that the
Yeah.
council will need to approve, but they will be our.
That we look for. But it's no, No.
Excuse me. How many parking spots is, maybe I'm getting off track. 600 project. How many parking spots is a lot of that? Everybody living there?
I think it's 37.
So we're gonna be taking some public parking.
No. With 37.
How many units are in the building?
What do you, 80 units and 37 spaces on the property. And they get no revenue spaces.
No, okay.
Because they went to the ZBA.
Okay, fine.
this is any project from this point.
I think for folks that are kind of scared about where that leads, I would just add that if they feel they need to find more parking facilities, there is a lot of off-street parking that's just idle a lot of times during the day. And you'll know the city that there's a freedom market for, say, a doctor's office that is closed at 4 o'clock, that they can rent out space to the apartment complex across the street, for some of their needs. So I wouldn't fear so much that we have all your legal cars. I think we should force the developers to just get over creative time to feel the need more parking. Because it is out there. There's a lot of empty spaces off the street, especially outside of working on it in office spaces.
Question I have for you, Jay. It says frontage. Let's take Stop and Shop.
Yeah.
They got a lot of frontage.
Yeah.
Is that their address frontage? I mean, they're not gonna say, all my building is frontage.
So I think we could say frontage on city streets, you make the property.
Oh, that's what I'm saying, it's gotta be more defined, just saying frontage.
Yep.
You know, your address, the 600, what are they, 1695?
Yep.
And the question would be how much frontage they have 3 buildings in each
Well,
building.
that's right, yeah.
Yeah, so
Because
they have
each
3
building gets
buildings.
frontage, I got one on Locust Street, I got one on Vale, I got one on
Yeah.
Boston, I got one on the Parkway, I'm gonna get 200 stickers.
Well, no, I think what it's saying is if you're building a the street, I mean, we never say that the street fronting taxes is your spot, but
It is.
in practice, it kind
No,
of.
it is because you had the right, if I'm not mistaken, if you lived on a corner,
Mhm.
you could dictate which address you wanted to use, whether it's this street or this street.
Well, you put in there the actual address, right? But isn't that in the
So-
ordinance?
I'm saying, if someone says I'm on 600 Beach Parkway, that's your frontage.
Okay.
The name of your address is your frontage. I live at 164 Linden Street. That's frontage is 164 Linden Street. If I want a corner, I don't want to say, I live at 164 Linden Street, my frontage is here and maybe Waverly Street or Warren.
Right.
So it's going to be defined as to what is your frontage.
I assume it to be whatever part of your building board the street. I think it could be 3 streets, right? In case of-
Once again, it's the NDC Street or a city street. It's going to be what frontage.
Probably already defined some of that. But it's in the ordinance.
It is, Chief. It is. Your address is your, it's because where your mail comes in from. That's what gets it all rolling on that.
Say we say we get it back to Stop and Shop, right? So they can have, is it livable address? Is it, I mean, so someone might claim that they're gonna have businesses here, multi-use project in one building and then residents in the other building. They're getting both, but it's just gonna be residential areas.
I think what we're saying is you can get both. I mean, again, it's a pretty small number of permits relative to the property, right? So
And there's no parking down there anyway, so off
the
street.
interesting about 6090 Ridge Parkway, they actually didn't need to go to the ZBA for variance at all. They met the parking requirements, so, but they can park on, here, they can park on,
Yeah.
Vale, Boston.
Boston.
No parking on Vale
Well, they
anymore,
got
there's no
Locust
parking on
Street.
Boston.
They got Locust Street coming online now, so I don't know what that's
That's
going to
Chelsea.
say.
That would be Chelsea, right? Locust Street.
I don't know if it splits it.
Yeah, we could, I think a project like that, they probably wouldn't bother.
Yeah, they have like 800 spots.
But the funny thing about these projects, and if you're concerned with anything, you take that project, it was at 850 units. They didn't really get much more than 20 resident parking stickers out of this program.
Correct. Yeah, so I think it's more for the ones that come on Broadway. Like, the ones that,
Yeah.
the one that's coming on, the big one, the 460 unit in front of Boston and Second.
Fine.
There's no parking there anyway.
Right.
Fine Second, 480 units, whatever. Right. There's no parking down there anyway. So
It's less about those projects and more about
correct.
these.
It's more about the Broadway. So I think we're trying to limit how many. So just if I may ask you, just so everybody's clear, how much feet of footage are you giving per spot? Like,
So we're saying 20 feet, and I think, you could probably analyze the depth and say, well, you kind of drive it, you kind of 500, all these things. When we work with development with other cities, some of the frontage times too, like the 100 feet, they give you 10 spaces. The idea being that, well, not everybody's going to park there all the time, all day long. We could have said 0, but I actually think there's probably some utilities in on-street parking. We don't want to go with 0. it's not gonna be a perfect number, but it's gonna be a number much less than what we give out today. So, you know, we thought today for hours what the exact right number should be, but I think we're in the ballpark.
Now, do you have a start date when you want to start this?
So this would, when the council adopts it, it would apply to any project receiving occupancy permit after that date. So, that means you could have gotten all your permits, all your building. If you don't have an occupancy permit, you don't feel in the building. Then when you do, you'll be.
I like the plan. We've been talking about this for about a year now.
Yeah.
We were all the way down.
You know, we did it down at,
Yep.
Belcher.
The only thing I would like to see in NJ, and not to be a sticker, but I just don't want to see someone making money off the city's sticker program. So I think to put a fine, structural fine in there, first offense, second offense, third offense would be, just like in the NCAA, right? We take away all your, you do it 3 times, you catch it the 3rd time, all your stickers are gone.
Mesh the plot should be wide anyway.
Anyway, yeah, I think that should be in anything. We find, just the first one will be $1,000 fine, second will be like 5,000.
Maybe we can look up and see if anything exists today for that.
I don't think so. Just us that you're not doing program down the LB zone. We put in there that if we find out you're using the wrong way, they're gone after the first time.
And, you know, I think I know this also, but we're establishing the fine structure. Is that
I think
body
it's,
or is it-
I think it would be us, the traffic
so
commission.
the council would probably be in the ordinance that
Yeah.
fines could be levied.
The fines would be levied according to, but I think we need to talk to legal on that first.
Yep.
That we're able to do that, and let's see what we
Not
can
that we
find.
don't do it.
Yeah, just why should someone make money off the city resident fee? I mean, this easy way to check, right? If you ask people, if they charge you for it.
No, it's a really good point, because right now, there's not really a market for it, but for the, such a grading one.
But now, the other thing that we were talking about is, yes, going into the point. The other thing that we were talking about is parking lots. Like you said, there's plenty of parking. If there's not enough parking in the building, there's other people in the stickers, and there's plenty of parking in parking lots. If they're parking in public lots, obviously, the stickers are gonna be, we're gonna be enforcing that as well, right?
Yeah.
If they're on the sticker.
Correct. Yeah, they can't park. So.
No, I understand that. So if they park, say they park in the credit union,
The credit union, the
It's
only
private.
credit union, and they run
we
spots.
park in there all the time.
You can't take. Only when you take private lots, bars.
But the credit union can.
Right. Fire lanes,
But
fire lanes and HPs.
But the credit union could rent out.
Exactly.
Correct. Yep. So they, the companies can make a little more money.
I was thinking like there's some big lots down on Broadway, right in the circle, like the church there, a couple of other lots back there, they're huge, but they're empty, like 95% of the time.
Yeah.
You know, we're all screaming about parking on Broadway.
Right.
You know, if we can create that market to incentivize them to rent out the spaces. then we're on the way to that.
Not paying them, you know.
That's up to them and the
That's
developer.
up to them, that's all I had, so. So how would you like to stand, which would want to table until we get an answer from legal on the fines, and then I think it should, I like it, I would just like to add in that word as well, that, using the city, finding.
So if you guys are open to it, I would ask that you give us payroll recommendation with the proposed amendments of the fines and setting fine and fines.
Yep.
With the condition.
The planning board was, you guys had a great talk with the planning board in this. I think it protects us a little bit too, because we have said some places you don't get any residential, but they are paying their excise tax. So that's if they're not offering, the company is offering you free parking on site, and I think it's good. But it protects us down the line. So, yeah. So it's passed. So with the favorable action, with the 2 items to be added, the fine structure once we talk to the city solicitor, and also the definition of frontage. Right? Jay, Jay, just wanted to, commend you on all this big work and research that you did. It was a lot of work by it.
And I want that, video of the planning board, as well. For a couple hours.
Yeah. And that's,
And that's
the way that we wanted to go with, right? We want all boards, there was a big push for that, which was taking all boards. This is the perfect piece to show why we need to have boards together. So great job, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks. Thank you. Okay, so going forward with new business. So this was brought up by deputy, one of the deputies, four-way stop at Tremont at Prescott.
Yeah. I think especially now with the nice weather coming, the area's getting really busy. And I use that way a lot to go to the city, go to the city, stuff like that. You're coming down. Prescott. You get there, and I always stop anyway, stop sign there, but like people coming the other way, like you gotta kind of, it's a reach to look, especially when the street curves a little bit, you can't see, you know what I mean? And people, you start edging out there, and people come whipping by this way, whipping by that way. I just think, ultimately, before accidents down at Baldwin, or, when the summer gets better, people are going down to 7 Acre Park, more and more people, you're gonna have people, you get in the habit of stopping now, especially before the foot traffic starts walking down there. I think it might be, a good idea to consider doing something like that. All it's gonna do is slow people down a little bit, so what? It's an area that's gonna get busier and busier, especially through Airport Road, construction over there.
So that you're looking for the area, the intersection that was where the race cross was.
Exactly.
There's a two-way stop now when you're coming out of that, you haven't named that street yet. Coming out of that little short street there and coming down. This stop sign there, Tremont Street does not have stop signs. So on the deputy's plan, we would add a two more stop signs on Tremont Street here. And to make it a four-way stop with the four-way underneath. So everybody knows it's gonna be a four-way stop. Okay.
Yeah. I have to ask a question. I paid that intersection the day when I thought it was ridiculous. Come down Prescott, and have the bump out. The cars, they can't plow right. 20 feet from an intersection. Where is the intersection? Bump out. Because the deputy said, you try to take a right-hand turn on the Tremont, it's the line. Yeah. Okay? That should have been, when it was put in, it should have blocked off all four corners so people could see around the corner, which wasn't done. They parked right out to the corner. I've never seen a ticket down there. Nothing personal, but I could never understand the intersection. It should have been redesigned in a much different way than a raised crosswalk. It's needed a four-way stop sign down this the day they put it in. Because when you come to it, you're going to take a right and look to your left. The first thing you see is a sign. It's a yield sign. It only catches out of the corner of your eye. So you're thinking it's a stop sign. Because no one in their right mind would leave that open. Well, maybe some people would leave that like that without a four-way stop sign. So you pull out.
You gave him a good compliment. Now you throw right back. Come on. I was going for a perfect night here. And that design was not his. That was before.
I know whose it was. When they were putting it in, I went down there. What are you guys with this crazy design? You can't take a right safely. Cars are parked right out there. Heaven forbid coming from your left. So the four-way stop sign is a great idea. It definitely improve the intersection. But the intersection itself needs to be redesigned, and that type of design should never be incorporated anywhere in the city again, because it doesn't work. Am I right, Mr. Capasso? Are you people with your funeral procession trying to come down there?
I go down that way.
Take a right-hand turn?
I will be honest with you, I have to agree with the one that I go down that way all the time.
Well,
The problem is the cars shouldn't be at the corner. Another blind intersection on getting off 20 is Sunday. Regular corner. Another blind intersection. The cars are parking too far close to the corners and you can't. It's a line.
To your point, the problem is the power much of this for this crosswalk.
You're absolutely correct in saying.
Not really, because you allow them to park on Tremont Street on the right. Up a little bit, you have a you've crossed out a couple of spots, but you've created like one tucked in parking spot down there that people across the street use all the time. You come in the cemetery. I'm just
All right,
saying.
so what we're gonna do is that.
I'm fine with the stop sign. I'll go with that.
So, everybody in favor of the stop sign or anything else, we'll have a four-way, make that a four-way. And then what we'll do in the next meeting, I'll present it. I'll put the down is, we'll, put some, in the spring, we'll put it down, we'll cross out 20 feet, we'll mark it up. We'll make that clear.
Yeah.
So we'll pass that, the four-way stop.
The other question that I'm going to ask, not interrupting, is proposing a four-way stop sign. When would you like the stop sign put in?
Right?
Yeah. Because the other signage that still hasn't gone up to be approved in months ago. School zone,
You're up.
South Avenue, Wall Street?
Yeah. You're up.
I was just there.
But they're starting, there's Lafayette's done, yeah, Lafayette's done. They've got like 16 to 20 already up, 2x4 new ones. We're taking down all the old ones, we're putting the new ones up. So, they've been a little, we'll get them all done, I promise you, they'll be up, it's just been, weather's been a little friend of ours lately,
I said
so.
that already in my email, yeah.
Yeah, so, all right, so that passed, and then, I'll bring up to the next meeting, the other stuff, we got at intersection. I am openly up that with the new staging down there. So I've been after them, just to add, I've been after them for a whole new redesign down there, because that intersection is bad. You know what's worse than that? You're coming down Air Force Road, you have to take a right onto that little road, and the bikes are coming, and you can't see. They were supposed to move that stop sign, or put a stop sign up for the bikes.
I brought that up
Yes, we've
from
all
the
had,
planning board
but it's state money.
numerous times when Wynn was proposing to put the parking down there. You take the right and say, you have to pull that intersection back for. It's so tight, they're running over the sidewalk.
Correct, but I wanted to bring, the bike path comes here, and the bike path comes towards the street.
Yeah.
Bike path should have went up more towards the middle of the road,
Well,
because
it
when you
used
stop
to
at the
be-
stop sign, you cannot see.
It used to be the other way around. The issue with that is that people come blasting across there, not what the bikes. We got a lot of, new misses of folks coming out of the parkways and just blasting right through, because the stop sign is past the bike there. They weren't looking.
It's just,
So-
you can't see.
Yeah.
I know we were talking about putting a stop sign, making a biker stop. I think that's the way we were gonna go. But I'll bring that up, if that's a state project, so it is our property now, right?
No, we can do that. That was, Wynn put that at our.
I'll pass that up. So the next issue B will be no parking at dead-end streets during snow emergency. This is brought up by the DPW. So this would be like Sycamore Street, Jefferson Ave, Abbott Ave, any. This one's Jackson. Goes Jackson, and then it goes. Broadway. After Jackson.
Well, Adams is kind of a
Jefferson.
too, because Adams has
The dead,
streets at the dead end.
right. So dead
Two
end.
houses.
And then you also have those Jefferson, Jackson. So it's the one right after Jackson. You go up, you take a left on that small side street, it's got a dead end. So it would be any street that is a public. So it would be any street that is not private. That the city plows, mostly Jefferson, Haskell, Hatch, all those streets, what's happening is cars are parking at the dead end. And the city plow just wants to plow that right up against that area. Now, at the dead end, they're parking on the dead end spot, so if this was a street and all of a sudden it stopped there, they just want to plow now they can't, because there's two cars that are parking at the dead end spot. Now they have to try to maneuver to pull the snow out from there, instead of just going straight in and putting it up against the dead end wall. So by people parking there, they have to try to maneuver to try to get that snow out of there. Instead of just being able to go straight down and then back down and clean it even more. So they would just be looking for during snow emergencies, that you would not be able to park.
No parking at all on the sides. Like, you know how you're saying
So if this is the dead end here, yeah, you wouldn't be able to park from here to here. You'd be able to park here, you know, right here, you'd be able to park. You just wouldn't be able to park in the middle. So if this was if this was my car and I parked right up here against the end and I was facing out, that's fine. That's a
Okay.
legal parking spot. It's the people that park here, and then park here, so it's 4
Yes.
cars across.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so it'd be like 4 cars across, and now they have nowhere to put the snow on that street.
I think it was just a learning was. Like, we understand what you mean now, you know, you're saying on the end, it's an act, but yeah, I know what you're saying, well, at the very end, right, that makes sense.
So the city would put the signs up, no parking, you know, at this section for snowmobile. Because they just know where that, it's been real hard for them to get at that area. Definitely. Definitely. All for? Any against? Okay, so while we're on snow emergency, discuss issues on Waverly Street during snow emergency. This is a good one, right? So Waverly Street. So it's odd-sided parking. I mean, outside, yes, you have parking outside. Problem is that for many, many years, if you look at the main arteries, somehow Waverly Street eastbound is the side you're not supposed to park on no matter what. Because the lower end of Waverly is restricted parking. They just want to be able to plow all the way down there. So I'm looking for more clarification. We can take our time. Even if we pass it tonight, we're not going to pass it tomorrow. So if you guys have a chance to go look, Waverly coming from Hancock down to Buckham, it's tight street parking on both sides. So right now, the law says you can only park, you're not supposed to park on the eastern side, which is the side towards Broadway. Going down, not supposed to park. So, but when we do announcements, 2-sided street parking, park on the odd side, now they're parking on that, because it's been confusing. So I just want you guys to take a look at it. You have a chance to go drive at it, and then I think all the signs are pretty much gone. That's been a nuisance for us during the snow surge. So are we bringing that back up for a vote next, whether we want to just change it to a normal street where they abide by odd and even like we do now, or do we just want to put cost and repost it and flyer it? But either way, we're going to have to flyer it with flyers to tell them how they're going to stop parking. But I just want to make sure you bring that up here. We won't be able to get it done by the next storm. So I'll bring it back up here at the next snow season. Yep, it's so confusing to people.
One way, 2-sided parking.
It's 2-sided parking, but under the city ordinance, during snow emergency, you're not supposed to be parked on the easterly side. You're supposed to park on the right-hand side going down. But when it's an odd year, people, we're announcing, the patrol division is announcing a parking, and people move to the outside, which is that side. Because it's just one of those.
So we
weird
define
ordinances.
it as easterly versus westerly.
Yes.
That should be on.
That's the only street in the city of Everett that has that designation. So I'm looking to change that. Make it like right here, yeah, so that's something I'm looking for. And if you want, the next year, we can bring that up and really start banging that. But I'll just wanted to bring it to the board's attention tonight. And if you have a chance to go look at it, signs there, stuff like that. All right? We'll table that for the future, which is fine. Okay, D, discuss residential issues, 42 Reynolds Ave. The property is ignored during street sweeping and snow removal as 63 allows in Chelsea and up Everett schedule.
So, this constituent's called me several times. She's lived there for 20 years. And she has every snowstorm, doesn't get buckled. Snow doesn't get buckled, not plowed. And every street sweeping season, in front of her house is filthy. And I went by and you can see that's the snowbank that's there now. Because whatever we do, Chelsea does the opposite. So, like, there's always a car there, so they just stop plowing right in front of her house. You turn the page. Her house is the one on the left, it's 42 Reynolds Ave, and the one on the right is 63 Reynolds Ave, and that's Chelsea. So, if you see two of the street signs right in front of her house, there's Chelsea permit parking, and the streets, in the code zone for, street sweeping, some emergencies, and look behind that sign, you see everything. So, I kind of see what her issue is, but I don't know how to fix it. There's like 3 houses after her house, and that's Chelsea. She was saying that they could, could the city of Everett own the street, and I said, I don't know how to solve the problem.
No, so I think that's something that, we'd have to bring to the DPW's attention to make sure that they go all the way to the pasture property. So maybe we put up a city sign that says where the property line is, and they go to that. That's the only thing I can do. Putting a line in the street, and I can stay during snowstorm. So I would put, city of Everett property line, pole up, just a red pole or something, or a pole like that saying city property. And then we have to make sure that DPW is aware to make sure that they plow and they, street sweep to that location.
So this is from the parkway to the farmhouse, or is it the other way? Is it Malden Street?
Moment.
So Malden Street to run. So it's 43?
Well, she's 42.
Okay, how many houses is it? Did you count how many houses from the line? From Malden
So
Street?
after her house, which is Chelsea, there's about 3 more houses.
And then you go to Parkway. So,
I'll talk to, Sergeant Flipper at Chelsea and see what they say at their traffic commission, maybe we can get on the same page. I'll make,
2 houses?
I'll make a phone call, see if they can get on the same page with us, so we can clear that. That'd be up to them. But I know we talk to Sergeant Flipper. He's there, so we'll there and see about their traffic commission, maybe they can work with us in that. So that'd be the first option. Second is posted. City line. So if you want to table it, so I can make some phone calls to Chelsea first. Questions on that?
You just continue on to the parkway.
What happens to the other streets, like, there's like 3 streets right there, how it's the same problem, right?
So I'm on Madison turns into Chelsea,
Yeah.
they legit stop right at the line.
Well,
You can tell when you cross from Everett into Chelsea, you can see the difference in the stuff.
so there's like a snowbank at the town line, or they all just out of the point.
Have you noticed 99 going from Everett to Malden? I mean, it goes 2 lanes. Well, we have 1 lane.
Yeah.
They have 2. All of a sudden, it stays 1 lane. And it's just different. Crazy. All right, so E, a 15-minute parking at business located at 195 Ferry Street by Lucy Padilla.
Is that another gross market? Is that your property?
That's Newmar, I think.
195 is in front of the property. Yeah, I couldn't find 195, right?
So 205, 205.
205.
No, 205 is the apartment building, correct?
Well, I don't know, I couldn't find 195, it's the apartment building in the house.
196.
But either way, it's on that side of the street, no.
It's on the, yeah, it's on the, isn't it the same side as, the laundromat?
No, it's opposite. It's the other side. The 381 Ferry Street is, I always go to.
Yeah, so it's on the odd side, so you can't have two. You're
Right,
just gonna have to get
parking on that side.
there's no box, we're gonna have to get a clarification from the ownership, so it probably means 196, but we'll have to table it, so we can get that. It's probably a 15-minute parking zone across from the old, Golden House, that jumbo out, someone on that, Golden House, and
It's really gross.
yeah, it's probably that strip there, right there, but we'll have to, get the right address where they want it. All right, we'll skip that, Steve, I'll tell you,
196 would be the fine mark.
yeah, I think that's probably
That's
where.
what they probably prefer.
Yep. Steve Altieri's not here tonight, so
No, the
we'll
bus
table that.
stop before it.
Before the
The
fire.
bus stop is across the street from Elm Street Market.
Third Street.
Third Street.
It's the
You
math.
better- you
I
better-
can't think straight, it's the math.
You better pick it up because you gotta have your A game, because you're E. so
I'm not getting
you're
out
G.
of with this thing
You're
on.
G, so you're on, so you gotta have your A game tonight, my friend.
I know.
Okay, so G, the last one of the night, would be proposed by Fred Foster to address the Glen Hill traffic
skip
lights.
One of the Steve Altieri's.
We'll wait till we see it. He
Because I want
sent,
clarification.
yeah, he sent the email, so we'll wait till we see it. Proposed by, Greg DePasso to address the Glen Hill traffic light, needed add traffic light at Broadway. The crosswalk light operates by itself. It changes the light, causing backup even when no one is there.
The traffic light at Edith Avenue, so you're coming down,
Lovely.
Broadway, either way. Red Hill, 5:30 in the morning, I'll be going by there, the crosswalk light. There's no cars there. There's nobody there. The lights changes. What's that? It is.
You know, from, does that area have pads? I don't
It
think it
should
has
have, it
pads.
should have, no, it should have them, but then,
Now, okay, but now, where the other sidewalk used to be where St. Teresa's is now gone. So the fence, like, where the traffic light is, and the crosswalk button is, goes around it, so nobody can push it.
yeah, I gotta go back and
You
check.
can't,
I
you
don't know if
can't
they're allowed to
cross,
block
so
traffic.
it does cause a backup. There is a backup there, where I was always under the assumption, because we have this, I think that area needs to be studied more, because the issue is, if you get stuck at one line, and the light turns green, then you may cause a tie-up at Edith Avenue, if somebody wants to take a left-hand turn, and go down Edith Avenue, if the traffic, you know what I'm saying, but the timing of the
The two
lights.
are synced together.
That light is being changed. When we gave them the approval for that project,
Yes,
it was with the assumption, well, actually, it was with the demand that they remove one traffic light, the one in front of the building,
yeah,
leave the one at the
but they're
intersection.
both still there.
Well, the building's not done yet.
Well, why-
That was we brought it up, right, we told them that, but when the time comes, one traffic light has to go, it's making it too confusing down there. I mean, I can see when they had the church, they didn't they don't have the church anymore. That one traffic light in front of the church will be taken out of service. That's exactly what I was
So it should happen.
And we have brought that up, and it has been studied, and hopefully when they do the whole intersection, it'll work much better.
The condition was that they are going to remove that.
They got well, we asked them.
I will-
Instead of telling them what to do, we always make a recommendation. You can't have two traffic lights. You say to their traffic expert, you gotta get rid of one. We recommend you take care of the one in front of the church, leave the other one at the library.
I will follow. If you have that, I'll follow
I
up.
don't know what the condition says, you know, to do this and that.
We'll follow with that.
So would you still gonna run into the issue that Fred's bringing up too, that if someone they take the right at Glen Hill and then go to take the left? Is there a way that you can put that box on the?
That light's gonna be gone. Where
Where the church is,
Where the church is.
but it'll still be at the bottom of Glen Hill, right?
You gotta have on the Glen Hill. So when
So-
you come on the Glen Hill, you turn right.
Yeah.
There's nothing to stop you to turn left on Edith anymore.
But if the traffic's there,
Put a box there, you know, think the box.
Yeah.
That would be another thing. You can put a sign, do not block the intersection. Not only put a box, we can have the box. The boxes have been working. I see a big difference, especially when you're on Second Street.
Yeah.
All the would work there was the cruiser at the old post office. Driveway. That was always in the turn.
That was, that was.
Nobody saw that.
So let's, we'll talk to the company, make sure they're taking down one of those lights, and then we'll follow up on that. And then the other, also we need to stay, okay, so he's brought up the, no right-hand turn signs on Glendale Square, Never Square, so there was always no turn on red,
I thought we approved that. And we were gonna go back up.
and we were gonna go back up, so we just don't know how we're gonna do it, because we're gonna have to add new
Whether
signs.
the houses are on that side,
Plus, we cannot put anything
on lights.
on the new lights.
You can't put anything on the new light?
We're not gonna,
Just out of curiosity, who said that?
we just don't want money. Spend all that money on the lights. Why?
Right on red.
It's always, was always no right on red.
What determines that?
That's when the law passed, traffic commission went for us.
Oh,
So
There was
they,
always
all the
signs
signs, all the signs were taken down when they did all the new lights and all that, and they didn't go back up, so people been asking.
yeah, no, I just didn't know why, what's most determined. I go right on.
Yeah, I mean,
So what do you propose to do? Just put like a pole and a street light, and then put a sign on that?
that or hang it from the light itself, you know, in the middle of the street.
I mean, because, like,
I like the ones that
come
hang
up
over
Chelsea
the
Street,
intersection.
take a right, taking on Chelsea, they take right in front of you.
Yeah.
Place, anyway. When you sat there normally before, you looked directly across the street, right there, you couldn't miss it. It was
On the pedestrian signal, I think that's straight ahead.
Yeah. I like the ones hanging from the middle of the.
Listen, I like the one on Norwood Street, when you come down Norwood, on the right hand side, there's no turn on right, they still go right.
It's everywhere.
So I mean,
God bless.
the two spots, Chelsea Street from Broadway, that's a major walk-through area. The other area that I definitely need no turn on red. I hate, gotta get that back up, especially with the kids. When the bus gets stopped at that intersection on Broadway, northbound, all those kids get off. Well, the high school people are turning, people just keep walking through that intersection.
The one on the other side is still up. The one in front of Main Street House of Pizza, River House of Pizza.
It's still up.
No turn
They
on
haven't
right.
changed. 'Cause that's
But we
my
need
turn.
one northbound and one in front of the gas station.
So I'll talk to DBW tomorrow, we'll send them all that Joanne sent, starting next month, Joanne Gregory, who works for the traffic commission, traffic and special assignments, as a secretary, she'll be attending the meeting now, starting next month, she'll be taking all the notes, she'll be doing all the follow-ups, that all this work gets done, and follow up to make sure emails sent to be back. Get a little off my plate, change plate, tell anybody else that needs to have. So Joanne will be here, and she'll be, in charge of sending all the emails out to these direct departments with a response time when you're done. We can start having that checked out. Okay, everybody okay with that? Yes. All right, so that's talk to the chief of that. So she's going to come here and take care of it. So those, on the last one, yes, the signage has started putting out, Tommy Golden starts putting up all those new signs. They're 2 feet by 4 feet, school zone, they're pretty sharp looking. The DPW wire department's still looking to make the lights flash again. They're building their own, so we can have it. And, I go around Tommy Golden and we're taking down about 30 signs that are just junk signs that are just misread and miswrong. 20-mile-an-hour zone signs where they should be, 25-mile-an-hour zones where they shouldn't be. So, so that school, so when we've been out in schools now, you're going to see these nice big bright lights. These bright signs, they're really good. Instead of looking at like these.
I think we want Devon Street, the race crosswalk. I think sometimes when you see a raised crosswalk for rent, you want to say to yourself, why are they putting it there? I'll use the Devon School as an example. Why do they put a raised crosswalk at the Devon School? Just someone wake up one day and say, that'd be a great place for a raised crosswalk. Or was there a problem with the kids? Someone, I mean, that school's for the kids that need a little extra care, let's face it. Most of them were brought there by car. The crosswalk is after the school, so I don't see the advantage of it. And it's just a pain in the ass, putting it mildly, to have the thing there. I went up there the other day. I thought a 747 was going to land here because it's got these yellow signs. I said, they must think this is Logan Airport. So, with all the, what is crosswalk, Joe? With all the signs, what was the need of it? And I'm not saying we shouldn't, but if there's a real serious problem there, those little kids crossing the street, then it should be addressed in, I think, a much different manner, that the flashing light should have been up there, just a raised crosswalk after the school. What does it help with it, Jay?
So,
I mean, what does it do after the school?
all right, let me back up. So, this is like mayor loves raised crosswalks.
That's the
Everybody-
problem. That's the problem.
everybody loves raised
And
crosswalks.
at $50 to $75 to $100,000 each, my pocket
But-
rings every
but-
time I see
but
one.
Everybody likes them. The schools ask for them. The neighbors ask for them. Everybody wants one. So, some time ago, we just took out a map and said, well, okay, we're going to prioritize schools, we're going to prioritize parks, and start there. We'll prioritize places where we know there's speeding, like the streets between Hancock.
I do, check it on, make it on my street, Lincoln Street.
So we started there. Then the big thing is drainage. So you like, one point back to that school. You're right. It would have been much better to put it before the school. But we put it there. when you putting a dam on the road, right? So now you get the water. There's no drainage. But there's a drainage up for the next one.
Let's do the one all backed up there.
So the crosswalks, I mean, that's through transportation money, that's federal money.
No, it's pretty.
I mean, there's some areas that I think, I like it down Sherman Street, you just got a little bit of drug signs. Love it at Cabot Street, right, because of the stadium. I mean, with the games, when life gets back to normal, football games, soccer games, you know, Pop Warner games, I mean, that's a great location. That area is pretty busy here.
When you try to generally slow traffic, you think of like, it's really hard to speed down First Street at this point. Between the race cross, like, between the intersection that you go at the top.
Oh, I got that right here. Funny you brought that up. Jesus, right. I wasn't reading my notes.
But we'll end there.
But you can't speed on Church Street anymore, really.
Steve, I'm sorry, Steve Altieri texted me, walked out downstairs. So I'm just gonna see if
I have a feedback about this, coming from Glendale Park to High Street, you take it all right,
Glendale,
to High, down Ferry,
coming down Ferry, and then
take it right on to High. Can someone put like, can you put a sign, 20 feet, no parking, because there used to be a little store there at the corner.
Yep.
Now with those new condos, wherever they are, because it all says is 1 hour parking.
we can take the 1 hour parking away.
Because I'm sure the neighbors are gonna start parking. Taking the right on the high, that little store that used to be there.
Yep, right at the corner.
Yeah.
And most people have plenty of room, right? Plenty of room, that's plenty of room in the parking lot. So,
Yeah, I think they got a little walk.
They gave that to you. So you put it on the street. Front, each line was just straight. Cross that sign from house on school. Keep it in mind. Like, corner of Bonnie and Nicholas. Corner of Nicholas and Bonnie.
it would be taken down and remove the crosswalk signs, the crosswalk, is that what you're saying?
No, they took down the no parking, get a corner sign, put a crosswalk sign in its place on the same pole, so now somebody's parking all the way at the corner.
Smooth thing.
You already
Run
got
a list of how many corner law violations you take. I mean, I know it sounds, they do write a lot of parking tickets for corner law.
Excuse me, Paul Strong and I had that sign put up 10 years ago, and the sign's been up. They took the sign off the pole and put the crosswalk sign in, they took the sign off. The sign should still be there. I know you did, and I appreciate that.
We moved the sign because it was better looking for the crosswalk. The crosswalk sign is nowhere near the crosswalk.
Put the crosswalk sign on the same pole with the no parking in the corner sign.
People should know about the parking. Right? Only parking tickets.
How come you don't get abused and I get abused? No,
It's a suit.
is it the same? Why don't wear a suit?
No, we'll take,
No good.
I'll have a sign put back up. I just don't want to block those crosswalk signs.
No, I understand that. I'm glad we have those signs up, because the one that they put at the other corner, it was past the crosswalk, it didn't make sense.
And then we'll get it all perfect, right?
No, it's perfect. It's just that we address it, so we get fined.
I have no idea.
So you gonna buy one?
They were not, I'm just saying that,
Yeah, they would have.
I mean, did the other people put them on?
Yeah.
Well, they put them on real quick. I think you put it for that.
Anything else? Fred?
No, thank
Sure.
you.
So once again,
The suit.
so next meeting, would be March 17th, that's St. Patty's Day. So I don't know if you,
Right, really, but have a St. Patty's Day?
already got. So do you want, it is 5 weeks in March. You want me to see if to move it to the 24th? Let's see how much, let's see if anybody proposes anything. Right now, I don't have anything for next month except for a couple follow-ups. So there's really nothing urgent. We can always skip a week. We're not gonna meet, not just to meet. I mean, we gotta make sure, if there's nothing real urgent, and I was bypassed what I need for.
How many
Yeah.
passes did you get on for that?
So we're waiting on clarification from legal on that, right? Right now, they can get as many as they want.
Well, are they subject to the same visitor pass policy that we just amended?
I would talk to which people, I think we're gonna have to talk to Slider and that first. They're different business out there. But I don't wanna give them if they have. I'll come up and see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, we can just go on the 24th. But B&B's is a big one with, visitors. That's not, that's for visitor placards, not for residential stickers. They're
No,
looking-
that's for like the one night pass.
When I asked, they're
They're like-
looking for the visitor placards, not residential stickers.
Right, so if you're an Airbnb host, and you're a guest coming and wants a visitor sticker, you have to go get the visitor sticker for them, and therefore you're subject to all the same rules. as yours.
Correct. But, you know, one person got like 52.
That's possible. in your rules right now.
So that's nothing in it right now, so that would be something that would be addressed next on the 24th. Get a ruling for this, office. Talk to him a little bit about that.
The hard one,
It's
you're an owner, and you live there, and you have to buy a room.
but the other thing is, if you have any driveway, and if the car's put in there, you ain't getting any visitors.
But who's to, how do you know that somebody's coming here for a visitor pass, and if they need yours, if somebody's coming for a visitor pass?
Well, they know that the girls downstairs,
Girls,
the girls downstairs know pretty quick how many times you're out. And it's logged in on the address. So if you're getting 56, 60 one-day passes, it sends a red flag. The girls know.
Right,
Now they know you.
but,
The big question is, I'd like to get ISD involved, that they actually clarify that, okay, this is a running business, B&B. Now, it's gonna be kicked down to traffic commission. This is a B&B, how many tickets, you know? That's what I like. I don't wanna give out for B&B passes to come, you know, to rooming houses that have not been inspected.
right, I don't know how many, we're just gonna just see what the new
Yep.
ordinance, how many folks who maybe actually register with the city.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't believe any of them are actually registered.
Correct. I just have the state law saying that after
Yeah, I
it's.
don't know what's more than, the other.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, right, so I mean, so it's gonna be a long, you know, that's another night that we're gonna have that.
Yeah.
So, but just, on a real quick, I'll get you that, yeah, I know, so I met with the city clerk's office, and all the regulations that we're changing, putting in, you know, the handicap stuff, all that stuff. So they are begun putting it on the City of Everett website, and it's gonna go under one whole section of parking. All the rules that we have changed, which is going to be regulations.
Ordinance and a regulation.
Ordinance, regulation governed by us. We are final say. Ordinance, there's still a little issue whether we're fully empowered to make rules, make the rules, right? And ordinance is there, so we have, the big discussion is, do we have to go through the city council to change an ordinance? Some people say no, some people say, well, I don't know, so why mess with that? We're just making
But
regulations.
they carry the same weight though, Joe.
Yes,
Totally enforceable.
yes.
Isn't the ordinance for the enabling legislation that kind of allows regulations, it's up to you, right? Regulations are kind of a start.
Yeah, some of the charter.
246, handicap spots there, so,
Something like
okay, when,
that. So we sent the whole list up to parking. And so we are just gonna be sending out, I just talked to Chad last week about, publicizing it. So we're gonna start publicizing it through the city's communication division. To start saying they gotta call us back to register their, notify us that they still need. So that's, hopefully I can get that done by next week. Snowstorms are driving me crazy. We have another storm where it's tomorrow starting at time. So,
tomorrow noon?
yes. You didn't go street nautical, please.
Yeah,
Second worst, Second worst street in Everett.
Oh, wait a minute, the very first snowstorm, the one you did at 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever, I thought you guys were towing on all the streets.
I know, I don't want to. I don't want to.
That's one thing, if you call an emergency, you can tow. I pick them and tow them. That's the only way they're gonna learn.
We did
I
tow
mean,
last.
the last snowstorm was.
Well, that's why last snowstorm kind of is, we did write 185 miles.
You should tow it too, that's the only way they're gonna learn.
I agree, but over 185,000, it's a big order. That's 7, 8 hours of work.
They actually went right up to the first storm, all of it.
When we get it cleared, yeah.
It did a good job.
2 years ago, that snowstorm, it took us 6 hours to put it all.
Was that anything?
Just couldn't get out there. Roads were done. Here in Loop Road, it took us almost 6.5 hours to get both. We have to bring the Bobcats down to the front of the roads. Once the plaza's done, they're done. So it's crazy. But everybody else doing good? Any other questions? Bill, we're good? Leo, you know what it's going to be? My last day of retirement, right? I retire. I'm going to bring that rock and soccer back to the and have a little fun. That's going to be my last official duty here when I retire.
I think I'll be long gone.
No, I don't know about that. Can't wait to look at that.
Don't you run the wild, that's all.
No, once again, guys, thank you. I really appreciate it. You guys do the conversation, the research. It really helps. We're doing a lot more than just normal. We're getting into some good stuff here, and hopefully to help improve the city down the line. Right on the side here, and stuff. It's going really good. Thank you. Thank you for your your patience and laughter. You know, we can disagree with you. So, thanks, guys. Now, if you have anything, just send it to me before the 17th.